Hey and welcome back everyone. I hope you guys had a great day so far. Well, today I'm going to be doing the look that you see right now, which is my kind of go-to summery makeup, so to speak. You guys kept requesting to do something more makeup related on my channel, as well as incorporate some of my summer essentials that I mentioned in my last video, just to show you guys how I use them and what I think about them. So of course, I'm going to do that. And as always, I hope you guys are interested, and if you are, just stay tuned. Right, as per usual, I'm going to start out by using a base product, and in this case, I was using the Missha Magic Cushion Foundation that I'm very much in love with at the moment. I'm not sure if I mentioned that before. If you guys are following me on Instagram, you probably know that I have two obsessions at the moment, which are number one, cushion foundations, and number two, false lashes. If you guys have suggestions for me in terms of both of these products, please leave them down in the comments. I would very much appreciate them. I've been using this foundation for about 3 weeks now, and I'm just loving the very moisturizing quality of it, and as well as the coverage. I don't have to use a lot of product of it to pretty much instantaneously get a medium to almost full coverage. This is one of these foundations that you can easily build up to a very nice looking full coverage foundation that doesn't look cakey or emphasize dry patches or generally emphasize anything texture-wise. My skin type at the moment is more on the normal to almost combination side, so I'm not as desert dry anymore as I used to. So for me, this foundation looks very shiny on my complexion, which I don't mind because I'm definitely going to blot and powder it down further in the video. But I think if you have normal to very dry skin, this is definitely a foundation that you would very much enjoy. So I like to stipple it on with the applicator that comes with it, that, to be honest, I feel like does all of the work. It's basically one of the nicest alternatives that I have found to the Beauty Blender, and the Beauty Blender, as you guys probably know, is like my favorite foundation application tool. The applicator that comes with the cushion foundation is bloody genius. It perfectly applies a very thin layer of product. It doesn't interrupt your SPF or moisturizer underneath. After I've done that over my entire face, I like to go in with my fingers. Use the warmth of my fingers to further melt the foundation into my skin, as well as get rid of the foundation marks on my hairline because I'm very blonde. So yeah, I do that. I stipple it further in, and I think it just gives a further natural appearance to my skin, and it doesn't look as shiny as it used to before. If you guys liked what you see, I'm going to give away one of the Missha Magic Cushion Foundations in 21. It's going to be the lightest shade, so if you want to be part of my giveaway, please have a look in the info bar down below underneath this video to get the information. After the foundation stage is completed, I like to go in and prime my eyes by using MAC's Soft Ochre Paint Pot. Using my finger, I just like to apply it very thinly on my entire eyelid space, as well as underneath on my lower lash line, to make sure that the eyeshadows that I'm going to apply right after are going to stay in place, don't budge or move. Right after that, I went ahead and applied another cream product. This time I used the Maybelline Color Tattoo in the shade On and On Bronze, a super gorgeous goldeny bronze shade, a very staple product if you ask me. I went in and used one of my all-time favorite MAC eyeshadows, which is the Pro Longwear eyeshadow in the shade Uninterrupted. I don't know how to describe this color properly. You guys probably know I suck at describing anything really, but I say that it is a yellow-toned sepia shade, a gilded color, so to speak. So it's just one of these grungy, warm, messy, dirty colors that I feel like are made for blending out any kind of eyeshadow. I love it. I can highly recommend it. Right after that, I went ahead and used the Lorac Pro palette and the shade in gold. all in all, the entire palette belongs to one of my favorites on the entire planet because the quality of the eyeshadows is insane. All of the eyeshadows in the palette are incredibly buttery soft. They blend out like a dream. As I said, I used the shade in gold and used it on a Zoeva 230 pencil brush and applied the color only on my movable eyelid, just where I applied the Maybelline color tattoo before to cover it up properly, and I just stippled the color on to make it look as dense as possible. After that, I used the same MAC Uninterrupted Pro Longwear eyeshadow on my lower lash line with the same Zoeva pencil brush, and I blended the color pretty much far into my eye. I would say 3/4 in. I left out the inner corner, and I also tried to connect the outer corner and make it look like a cat eye effect somehow. So that was for the eyeshadows. The next step that I did is to apply a couple of healthy coats of mascara, and I was using the Maybelline Lash Sensational Mascara in Waterproof. That has become one of my favorite mascaras too. I'm constantly using this one. It doesn't crumble or smear off or anything. It holds the curl perfectly, I find, and I love to grab for it. I'm a creature of habit, so if you have seen some of my previous videos, you probably know when it comes to brows, I usually like to stick to my favorite combination, which had been the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz and her tinted eyebrow gel in blonde. I always use these two products and I'm pretty much golden. They are very reliable, look natural, do the job, so I'm happy. So what I like to do with the Brow Wiz is just to firstly brush out my eyebrow hairs to get rid of the foundation residue that is probably in it. So I like to brush it out and then fill in the sparse areas of my brows. I don't have a lot to fill in, quite frankly, but I like to give my brows a little bit more of a neater shape. So I just like to roughly fill in everything, give my brows more of a nicer shape, I guess, and brush it out again to make sure that everything looks natural. And lastly, fixate my brows with her tinted eyebrow gel in blonde, and I'm good to go. So I love her products. I think they are very reliable. They stick to my eyebrows the entire day, so I'm happy. So if you guys have seen my last video, which were my summer essentials, you probably know that I can't leave the house without having blotting papers with me. They are detrimental because even me, someone that has usually desert, hardcore dry skin, gets a little bit of oil production during the summertime, so I don't like to stick to powders and layer powder after powder layer on top. I like to stick to blotting papers just to get rid of a little bit of the shine. Onto some contouring action. I use the NYX blush in the shade Taupe, a very popular shade with contouring experts on YouTube, I'd say, because it's like the perfect shadow color. It has this cool gray undertone to it, and I used the same fluffy brush that I used to blend out my golden color on my eyes. I just wiped it off on a tissue. I love to use the fluffy brush because it's just the perfect size. It doesn't give me too much color too, so it just perfectly diffuses the color where I place it. I have a lot of control over it. Onto my favorite and most exciting part of the entire video. I'm finally going to demonstrate how I use the Manassi Makeup Luster Cream Bronzer. This one is the bee's knees under bronzers. I feel like, seriously, there is almost no competition to this one, not only in terms of color, but in terms of texture too. It has this perfect terracotta base to it that I feel like a lot of people, if they were to tan naturally in the sun, they don't always get just this olivey golden tone to them. They get a lot of redness. I feel like this color perfectly mimics this reddened, a little bit burned skin even. The texture is divine. It is this moussey, creamy, almost gel-like texture that melts effortlessly and seamlessly into skin. Oh my god, it has a sheen to it, so it gives you this glow from within. All in all, if you want to be a bronze goddess this summer, you absolutely need this product. I repeat, you definitely need it. I like to apply it on the high points of my face, so like my cheekbones as well as my forehead, down the neck to tie everything together. But I like to apply the bronzer just a little bit over my nose. So basically, if I was to get a sunburn or a tan, which I'm not able because I'm so fair, it's impossible, I would definitely get a lot of like freckles on my nose and like on my cheekbones for sure. So I just like to stipple the remaining color, just what's left on the brush, over my nose to make the tan or like the bronzer look more natural. If you are very fair, you can surely use this product as like a blush or something like that. I think it looks very flattering too. If you're more medium to dark skin toned, you can even use it as a highlighter. It has the perfect amount of sheen to it. It doesn't look like too in your face. It is very subtle and sophisticated. And yeah, this is all I've been using. Again, I can absolutely recommend it to you guys. You definitely need to check it out. You get freaking 40 grams of product too. Keep that in mind. I think it's definitely worth the price. As I said in the beginning of the video, I like to blot and powder my skin just to make sure that everything is locked into place and stays the entire day. So for this case, I was using the Rimmel Stay Matte Powder in Translucent. I love it. I mean, it's super affordable. It does a job perfectly. So I just applied a very light dusting with a super fluffy art supply brush on top of the areas that I felt were a little too shiny. Last but not least, for my face, I used just a little bit of a highlighter. I again utilized my Lorac Pro palette and used the shade in Nude. So I grabbed my Smashbox fan brush and just very lightly tapped a little bit of the highlighter on top of my cheekbones, on the tip of my nose, and on my Cupid's bow. For my lips, I used something super simple and just easy to slick on the go, which is a tinted lip balm by L'Occitane. I think it's in the shade Rose or something like that. It's the lightest shade. I love them, so it's just very simple, gives just a hint of color and doesn't distract from the rest of the look. So I felt it was very appropriate to use that, and this is the look. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, why not give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to get more content in the future. You guys would absolutely make my day. I love you guys for watching, and as always, until we meet again.
You and I will stay entwined. And I told you about the full breakdowns that are only meant to talk about. I even told you about the